What if I told you that in the medieval world, beauty wasn't just about appearance, it was about survival, status, and the soul itself? Imagine living in a time where pale skin meant nobility, missing teeth were hidden behind veils, and the perfect woman was expected to have a high forehead, even if it meant shaving off her eyebrows. Tonight, let go of everything you think you know about beauty. Close your eyes and drift into a world where mirrors were rare, but judgment was everywhere. A world where every freckle, every curve, and every strand of hair told a story of wealth, virtue, or sin. This is not just history. It is a quiet, winding journey through fields, castles, and chambers where beauty meant everything and nothing at all. Now, breathe in deeply. Let the noise of the modern world fade, and allow yourself to walk slowly into the soft shadows of the past.
You wake slowly, not to the hum of a fan or the buzz of your phone, but to birdsong drifting through an open wooden window. Stone walls surround you, cool and quiet. You lie beneath a heavy linen blanket on a straw-stuffed mattress. There is no glass, no mirror, only a polished piece of metal hanging on the wall. It reflects almost nothing, just a shimmer of light. This is your mirror now. A soft knock. A maid enters, her head bowed, holding a basin of water. She doesn't speak, but dips a cloth in the bowl and gently hands it to you. Your reflection ripples in the water. You see yourself, not clearly, but as a suggestion. And you wonder, how did they know what beauty was in a world without mirrors? She takes out a small brush and begins to gently part your hair. You notice something strange. Her own forehead is high, too high, not by accident, but by choice. In the medieval world, a high forehead was a sign of elegance and wisdom. Some women shaved their hairline to raise it. Eyebrows, too, were often plucked away. It was not strange, it was beautiful. Outside, sun filters through the window, golden and soft, but the maid quickly shuts the curtain. "You mustn't let the sun darken your skin," she whispers. In this world, pale skin means you do not work in fields. Pale skin means wealth. Tanned skin means labor. And so, beauty begins with what you don't do. Not working, not sweating, not tanning. Just being still, protected, inside. She opens a tiny wooden box and removes a vial. Rosewater. She dabs some behind your ears. In this time, baths are rare. But rosewater, that is luxury. The scent is sweet, calming and clean. To smell good is to be respected. To smell like flowers is to be remembered. The body may not always be clean, but the perfume tells another story. From a wooden chest, the maid lifts a gown. Not colorful, not bright. Muted tones, soft green, gentle gray. You notice the long sleeves, the high neck. Medieval beauty did not shout. It whispered. Elegance was found in modesty. The less shown, the more imagined. And imagination was everything. You step softly through the manor's stone halls. Each step echoes lightly, your simple shoes brushing against the worn floor. Tapestries hang on the walls, scenes of knights, saints, and noble women. Their faces are long, their hands delicate, their posture serene. This is not decoration. This is instruction. This is what beauty is meant to look like. You pass two noble women standing by an arched window. Their eyes fall on you, quiet but sharp. They speak in soft voices, but their glances say more. In this world, beauty is not always spoken of. It is noticed, measured, compared. Your walk, your hair, even the shape of your fingers. Nothing is unseen. One of them wears a tightly bound girdle, cinching her waist so small it looks unreal. The corset hasn't been invented yet, but fabric and lacing have long shaped the body. A small waist means discipline, control, purity. Her movement is graceful, but restricted. You wonder how long she's worn it, and whether beauty is something she feels or just performs. There are no glass mirrors in the hall, but still, you feel watched from all angles. The way you sit, the way your hands fold. The medieval world does not need a mirror, because everyone is watching. Beauty here is not private. It is something others give you or take away. In a small courtyard, a young woman tends to herbs. She wears blue, a rare and costly color once reserved for the Virgin Mary. In medieval minds, blue means purity, grace, holiness. To wear it means you're not just beautiful, you are good. Colors speak louder than words, and in this world, being seen as good is just as important as being seen as beautiful. As you pass, someone says, "Smile, dear." But smiles are complicated here. A woman who smiles too freely may be called bold. One who never smiles may seem cold. So the perfect face wears a soft, quiet smile, barely there. Not too happy, not too proud, just pleasant, just acceptable. You try the expression yourself. It feels like holding a feather on your lips. You step into a walled garden just past the manor's edge. It smells of mint and lavender, warm earth, and old stone. An older woman is bent low, tending to a patch of violets. She doesn't look noble, but there's wisdom in her eyes. She sees you. She smiles. "Looking for beauty?" she asks softly. "Then you've come to the right place." She shows you plants, clary sage for the eyes, rosemary for memory, and fennel seeds for sweet breath. In this time, beauty is not bought. It is grown, gathered, prepared slowly. No plastic bottles, no glass jars, just cloth sacks and wooden bowls. Each flower carries a secret. Each root has a purpose. She grinds dried rose petals into a soft powder, mixes them with goat's milk and a little honey. "This," she whispers, "makes the skin glow like moonlight." You dip your fingers in. The paste is cool, fragrant, and smooth. She applies some to your cheek. "You'll look like nobility by sunset," she says, grinning. She lifts a jug of chamomile rinse. "This one's for light hair. It brings out the sun." Blonde hair is prized here, rare and bright. Some women even dye it with herbs or bleach it with ash. In paintings, the holy and the highborn often wear gold in their hair. But here in the garden, beauty is quieter, not for judgment, but for joy. She leads you to a small pond surrounded by soft grass. The surface reflects your face more clearly than the metal from the manor. Leaves drift across the water, distorting your image. But it feels right. In this reflection, you're not flawless. You're real. And somehow, beautiful in a new way. Before you leave, she hands you a sprig of lavender. Beauty fades, but scent, memory, kindness, they linger. You tuck the sprig into your belt. The scent follows you, calming, clean, soft, like the echo of a lullaby or the beginning of a dream.
The sun has not yet risen,
A single beeswax candle flickers beside a basin. You sit silently as the maid brings fresh water and a piece of linen. There is no soap, no mirror, just her practiced hands and the sound of cloth against skin. Beauty begins in silence. It begins before anyone else is awake. On the dressing table, a small box of white powder. It is ground from crushed pearls, chalk, and sometimes lead. Applied to the skin, it hides blemishes and gives the face a pale glow. You ask the maid if it's safe. She doesn't answer. She only says, everyone uses it. And you realize, here, beauty is worth the risk. Next, she pinches your cheeks lightly. Then, with a berry-stained cloth, she dabs color onto your lips. No lipsticks, no makeup kits, just plants, fruits, and secrets passed down from woman to woman. The effect is natural, but carefully made. This is not decoration. This is transformation. She sits behind you, brushing your hair with slow, careful strokes. 100 times, maybe more. Each tug straightens, smooths, softens. In medieval tales, a woman's hair is her glory. It's often braided, coiled, or hidden beneath a veil. But in private, it is a quiet river down the back, a beauty no one sees, but deeply feels. She rubs rosemary into your scalp, bay leaves beneath the arms, cloves pressed into cloth tucked at the waist. Baths are rare, yes, but that doesn't mean care is absent. Smell in this world is a message. To smell of herbs is to smell clean. To smell clean is to be respected. At last, the gown is ready. It's not sewn tight. It hangs loose in some places, snug in others. But it fits your time. And as the candle burns lower and the sky turns pale outside, you look down at yourself, not for vanity, but for a sense of place. You look like someone who belongs in this world.
You walk down a narrow dirt road, boots crunching on gravel. The village is stirring, markets opening, buckets drawn from wells, and then the gazes. People glance at you from doorways, not harshly, not kindly, just watching. In the medieval village, being seen is a kind of test, and beauty a kind of shield. You pull your cloak tighter, not because you're cold, but because eyes carry weight. Here, modesty is more than a rule. It's a kind of armor. Too much skin, too bold a color, and whispers will follow like shadows. You stop near a market stall. The glass is warped, more like polished metal. Still, it shows enough. Your gown is plain, your hair tucked, your posture upright. In this world, people judge not only what you wear, but how you wear it. Head high, hands still, like someone who belongs. A woman selling bread smiles at you. Her teeth are slightly darkened, normal here. She wears no powder, no perfume, and yet there's something deeply warm in her face. Her laugh lines, her eyes. You realize beauty here isn't only for the noble. It can be kindness, aged like good bread, simple, strong, familiar. A horse approaches, hooves soft on the dirt. A noblewoman rides past. Her dress is layered silk, her face pale as snow. People bow their heads. You do too. Her beauty is distant, untouchable, like a painting in a chapel. She doesn't see you, but you saw her, and you wonder, do they envy her or fear her? Near a stable, a girl your age adjusts a hay bundle. Her face is flushed from work, hair messy. She catches your glance and gives a half smile. There's no powder in her face, no perfume in her hair, But in that small, unguarded smile, there is something far more human than noble beauty. You smile back. For a moment, you are just two people, nothing more.
The sun has dipped below the trees. Torches crackle in the square. Their flames sway in the breeze, casting soft gold onto every face. You walk toward the sounds, lutes strumming, bells jingling, laughter rising. The village is alive, and tonight, beauty has come out to dance. Girls sit near barrels, smearing berry color onto their lips. Boys dip combs into oil, slicking back their hair. It's not vanity, it's tradition. On festival nights, everyone becomes their best version. Even if their tunic is worn, even if their shoes don't match, they carry themselves like royalty. An old woman stops you gently. She weaves a crown of daisies in time, then places it on your head. In my day, this meant you were open to dance, she whispers. You smile, not knowing if you'll dance, but grateful for the gesture. You feel seen, and in that, somehow, beautiful. Around the bonfire, faces flicker in warm orange glow. Lines are softened, eyes gleam. This light hides nothing, but also forgives everything. Scars, wrinkles, missing teeth, all fade into the rhythm of drums and soft singing. Tonight, no one judges. Tonight, they only feel. By the edge of the square, a couple scans close. No kisses, no loud confessions, just two hands brushing gently. In this world, love is quiet, and beauty is not loud. It hums like a lullaby, not meant to impress, but to comfort. Someone tugs your hand. It's the girl from the stable. Straw still clings to her sleeves. She pulls you into the circle. You move awkwardly at first, then slowly find the rhythm. Feet shuffle, hands clap, and just for a moment, under the festival stars, you forget the rules of survival. You simply exist, joyful, alive.
The next morning, you find yourself near the noble estate. A young woman sits by a tall window, her face turned toward the sun. Her gown is embroidered, her hair perfectly arranged. She looks peaceful until you notice her hands. They're tightly folded, unmoving. She is watched, always watched. Even in silence, she is expected to be perfect. Inside the manor, a governess holds up a polished plate. Smile with restraint. Sit straight. Speak softly. The girl nods. She's heard this before. Every day, her worth is measured not in thoughts, but in posture, paleness, and patience. You watch, uneasy. Is beauty still beauty when it feels like a cage? In the hall hangs a painting. The same girl, stiff in gold. The portrait is not for memory. It is an advertisement. A future husband may see it. He will not ask about her dreams. He will ask how wide her hips are, how pale her skin. Love is not the goal. A match is.
From beyond a carved door, voices murmur. She's nearly 16. The dowry must be ready. The Duke prefers golden hair. She'll need more powder. They speak about her as though she isn't real, just a figure on parchment. You realize even the most beautiful are not free. Later, you pass her in the garden. No one else is around. She glances at you, just briefly. There's a sadness in her eyes, but also recognition, as if to say,
You see me, not the mask. Then she turns away, her steps quiet on the stone path. You sit beneath a lilac tree, thinking of her, of beauty measured in inches and silence. And suddenly, you understand. Some of the most admired faces carry the deepest loneliness, not because they aren't loved, but because they are not allowed to be anything else. Not loud, not angry, not wild. Only beautiful, only still.
Beyond the village, tucked into a grove of trees, stands a crooked hut. Inside, the air is thick with lavender and crushed mint. A woman tends to bottles and bundles, her hands stained green with herbs. She is not young, not powdered, yet people come to her. They say she knows how to make a face more fair, and how to curse one too. She shows you a small clay pot. Inside, crushed pearl mixed with fat, a skin whitening balm. Expensive, dangerous, desired. You'd be surprised, she says, what people put on their faces to be seen. Her voice is tired, but not unkind. Beauty can open doors, but some doors lead to cages. In the tavern you hear whispers. A new servant at the castle, so lovely even the lord has noticed. Now the lady of the house watches her every move. Jealousy spreads like candle wax, slow and hot. You think beauty in the wrong place is a risk, not a gift. A traveler from the city arrives, bringing stories. In royal courts, women paint their faces like masks, rouge as red as wine, wigs high as rooftops, all to please, to rise, to survive. But what happens when they take the paint off? Do they still matter? That night, the herbalist tells you about a girl who once refused to dress up, refused to smile for suitors. She became a midwife, she says. Not a noble, not a wife, but she lived her life on her own terms. In that refusal, there was a different kind of beauty, one not seen in mirrors, but in freedom. You sit by the fire, staring into its glow. In this world, beauty can bring favor or ruin. It can lift someone into luxury or paint them as a threat. And still people chase it. Because in a place with so few choices, being beautiful might be the only one they feel they have.
You step into a small, stone-walled bathhouse. Steam curls from a wooden tub filled with warm water. A woman scrubs her arms with a bundle of herbs. Rosemary, mint, and sage. A girl pours a copper pot over her head. In this world, bathing is sacred. Not daily, not rushed, but quiet, cleansing, slow. In a small glass vial, lavender oil. One drop behind each ear, another on the wrists. This isn't perfume to impress. It's to feel fresh, calm. In a world of smoke and sweat, a little sweetness matters. A mother braids her daughter's hair beside the fire, not for beauty's sake, but to keep it neat, tangle-free. Still, the braids are delicate, looped with care. Hair in this time is a story, bound to modesty, to duty, to age. A married woman covers hers. A young girl lets hers flow free. Each strand says something. You spot a wooden bowl filled with chalky powder, ground sage, salt, and charcoal, used with a cloth to clean teeth. Rough but effective. There are no bright smiles here, but there is care. Even with little, they still try. In a merchant's home, you glimpse a polished bronze disc, not glass, not clear, but enough to see a reflection. He hides it in a drawer. For many, a mirror is rare, almost magical. Seeing oneself is not common, but when it happens, it feels important. You sit on a stool near the bathhouse door. The steam fogs the air. A girl hums a lullaby while rubbing oil into her hands. A boy whistles while combing burrs from his hair. No one is watching. No one is judging. These are the moments where beauty is not performance, but peace.
Walking through the village, you notice an older woman sitting by a fountain. Her hair is streaked with silver, skin lined softly with years. Children run past, villagers greet her with respect. In this world, age is a story. Each wrinkle, each silver thread tells survival, care, and experience. Beauty changes, but it does not vanish. Inside the manor, a matron tends to embroidery. Her hands are delicate, yet strong from years of work. Her skin is not pale as a noble's youth, but it glows with quiet health. In her gaze, you see that beauty is measured not only by looks, but by calm, wisdom, and the grace of moving through life without hurry. Some still use powder to soften the shadows of age, a touch to cheeks, a dab to the forehead, but now it feels different, not to hide, but to highlight. A gentle glow, a small ritual that whispers, "I am here, I have been here, and I am still worthy." A young boy points at the silver-haired woman and whispers to his friend, "Why does her hair shine?" "Because it has lived," the friend replies softly. Even children begin to understand. Beauty is not a single day or a single face. It is the sum of time, care, and quiet endurance. At the edge of the river, you kneel and see your reflection. Your face is pale, hair loose, modern clothes soft against your skin. Yet in the ripple, you notice something. Beauty isn't about perfection. It is about presence, being here, being alive, being a part of the story that flows slowly through time. The sun dips low, washing the village in gold and rose. You watch people moving, talking, laughing. Some are young, some older. All are human. All are seen. You feel a gentle calm settle in your chest. For in this world, beauty is not fleeting. It is carried, softly, through every day, every choice, every breath.
Inside a small chamber, a wooden chest sits under the window. Its lid creaks as a lady opens it slowly. Inside, ribbons, belts, and tiny pouches of beads. Each piece is carefully chosen. Each ribbon or clasp tells a story: family, wealth, virtue, or skill. You reach in carefully, feeling the smooth silk of a ribbon. Beauty in this world speaks quietly, through what is worn, not shouted. A young girl threads a ribbon through her hair. The color is muted blue, a sign of learning, modesty, and patience. Red might mean wealth, green, skill in embroidery, gold reserved for noble houses. In every braid, a message is hidden, invisible to those untrained, and yet it is clear to everyone who watches closely. You notice a woman wearing a thin belt over her gown, small beads sewn into the hem. Each bead is polished carefully, reflecting the candlelight. These aren't mere decorations. They mark status, region, or even moral virtue. A careful observer could tell the story of her life from the placement of each tiny ornament. Nearby, a merchant displays rings, pendants, and brooches. Gold, silver, copper, each carved with symbols, crosses, flowers, or initials. A ring might signal marriage, a pendant a vow, a brooch the wearer's guild or household. Here, beauty is not only surface, it is meaning, hidden in plain sight. Even a simple earring can declare identity without words. A noblewoman lifts a delicate veil over her hair. Soft linen, embroidered at the edges, almost transparent. It is both shield and statement. Veils are not only practical, they communicate propriety, caution, and social grace. In this time, covering oneself can be as beautiful as revealing. Finally, the lady touches her necklace lightly, not for others, not for display, but to feel her place in the world. Every adornment carries intent. Every ribbon, belt, or bead whisper quietly, "This is who I am. This is my story."
You enter a quiet room filled with soft sunlight. Women sit with combs and ribbons, braiding each other's hair with careful hands. Some hair is long, flowing, unbound, youthful and free. Others are pinned up, covered with fine veils or coifs. Every hairstyle tells a story, not for vanity, but for understanding. A married woman adjusts her coif, a stiff linen cap covering most of her hair. She touches it lightly, ensuring it sits perfectly. To reveal too much hair would be improper. The coif marks her role, her responsibilities, and her respectability. Her beauty is quiet, controlled, intentional. Beside her, a girl's hair flows down her back, loose and shining. No pins, no veil, just soft waves catching the light. Youth allows freedom, a small, fleeting privilege. You notice how the sunlight bounces off each strand and realize that beauty in this time is not only what is seen, but what is permitted. A noblewoman emerges wearing a hennin, a tall, pointed headdress. It's heavy, impractical, yet graceful. The height of the cone signals status, family, and fashion sense. Even posture becomes a performance. Every tilt of the chin, every turn of the head must respect the art of the hennin. Nearby, a simple village woman lifts a linen veil over her hair before going to the market. Not for grandeur, not for style, but for modesty. Even without jewels or height, the veil communicates respect, propriety, and subtle grace. It is quiet, unassuming, yet powerful. You find a small mirror resting on a wooden shelf. Looking into it, you see a mix of the young, the married, the noble, the common. Different hairstyles, different coverings, different stories. Each one beautiful in its own way. And you realize in this world, hair is not just decoration, it is language. A crown, a veil, a message. You watch a young noblewoman sitting by a window, threading beads into a ribbon. Her fingers move slowly, deliberately, almost like a dance. Each motion is measured. In medieval times, hands were not just tools. They were part of beauty. Delicate, clean, controlled, and expressive. A gesture could speak louder than words. A man approaches her. He bows, not hastily, not casually, each movement precise. She nods slightly in acknowledgement. In this world, posture and subtle gestures communicate respect, etiquette, and intention. Even standing, sitting, or walking is a kind of art. Nearby, children mimic their elders. A girl adjusts the tilt of her head. A boy clasps his hands softly. From an early age, people learn that beauty isn't just skin deep. It is carried in the way you move, the way you hold yourself, the way your hands speak silently. A mother brushes a strand of hair from her daughter's face, not forcefully, but gently. Each touch conveys care, protection, and patience. Here, beauty is not only in appearance, it is in action, in tenderness, in calmness. At the manor table, servants and noblewomen eat with precision. Hands rise gracefully, elbows pucked, movements deliberate. Even the act of eating becomes a quiet performance. To appear composed, elegant, and thoughtful, this is part of the unseen standards of beauty. You pause before a polished metal plate, your reflection faint but present. You see your hands, soft, relaxed, untouched by the rigidity of expectation. And for a moment, you realize beauty is not just about meeting standards. It is about the calm presence of your own body in motion.
a gentle poetry in every gesture, every breath.
You enter a small chamber where herbs hang from the beams. Lavender, rosemary, and sage fill the air with a calming aroma. A woman crushes a bundle gently in her hands and breathes deeply. In medieval times, fragrance was part of elegance, a quiet, invisible layer of beauty that followed you wherever you went. A noblewoman dips her finger into a small vial of rosewater. She pats it behind her ears, on her wrists. The scent is delicate, fleeting, but noticeable to those nearby. It speaks without words. Refinement, status, attention to detail. Perfume is not vanity here. It is presence. On a leather cord rests a small charm, a carved wooden heart. Another, a tiny silver cross. These are worn not for show, but for luck, protection, or sentiment. Beauty in medieval times is never complete without these subtle, intimate symbols. They are personal stories, hidden yet powerful. In the kitchen, bundles of dried herbs hang above the hearth. Mint for breath, thyme for memory, rosemary for courage. Even daily routines involve scents, a gentle brushing of powdered herbs on hands or clothes. The air itself becomes part of one's appearance, an invisible cloak of care. A young girl places a small sachet in your hand. "It will remind you of home," she whispers. You feel the dried petals, inhale the sweet perfume. Even without mirrors, ribbons, or gowns, the scent carries memory and calm. And in this moment, it becomes a soft, lingering beauty. As night falls, candlelight flickers across the room. The scents mingle with the warmth and quiet of the manor. Beauty is not only seen, it is felt. It resides in the gentle ritual of preparation, in care for oneself and others, in quiet intention. You breathe in deeply and allow the calm to settle through your body.
Past you, her face partially covered by a veil of fine linen. It flows gently as she moves, catching the golden light. In medieval times, the veil was more than fashion. It was modesty, status, mystery. It made beauty something you had to earn the right to see. You catch a glance beneath someone's veil, eyes lined with kohl, steady, observant. Back then, a single glance could hold meaning: interest, caution, defiance, or grace. The eyes became a language, a canvas for emotion, a powerful center of beauty, even in silence. You see a girl at the market, her veil slipped slightly. She doesn't fix it right away. Instead, she smiles, adjusts a basket, and keeps walking. She does not hide. She walks with quiet confidence. Not all beauty is wrapped in fabric. Some glows from within. On a wooden bench, a woman embroiders tiny flowers into the edge of her veil, each stitch slow and thoughtful. A story in thread, a garden in fabric. Her beauty is in the detail, the patience, the love sewn into something others may never notice. Two women pass each other, nodding slightly, their veils brushing shoulders. Nothing is said aloud, but the way they carry themselves, the way they cover or reveal, speaks volumes. In this world, beauty is often in restraint, not what you show, but what you choose to hide. You pass by the forge, where sparks rise like fireflies. The blacksmith's daughter works beside her father, bare hands strong, movements sure. Her face is streaked with soot, her sleeves rolled, yet there's something striking in her focus, in the shape of her hands guiding iron. Beauty here is not fragile, it is forged. In a quiet corner of the village, a potter shapes clay. His fingers move with care, smoothing imperfections, lifting the form from earth. You watch the curve of the bowl grow, smooth and balanced. Hands in medieval life are tools of survival,
but also instruments of grace. An older woman shows you how to weave. Her hands are lined, knuckles swollen, nails chipped, but each motion is fluid, practiced, patient. In her hands you see decades of labor, and a beauty untouched by mirrors or trends. It is the beauty of doing, not appearing. A young man kneads dough at the break of day. The flour coats his arms. The rhythm is steady. Push, fold, press. The scent of yeast and warmth fills the air. And in the quiet act of making something for others, he becomes a part of the village's gentle beauty. At sunset, someone sits near the well. Their hands, once busy all day, now lie still in their lap. Cracked, calloused, and sore, but still beautiful. You understand now. In the medieval world, the hands tell a story. And every scar, every stain, is part of a life well lived.
Behind a stone cottage, you find a garden alive with scent. Lavender, sage, rosemary, all growing wild and strong. An older woman kneels in the soil, her fingers brushing leaves gently. In this age, she says softly, beauty grows from the earth. You breathe in. The scent calms your thoughts. Inside, bundles of dried herbs hang from beams. The table is scattered with petals, oils, crushed bark, and roots. She mixes a paste with care, explaining, "This one softens the skin. This one brightens the eyes. And this," she smiles, "keeps the bad dreams away." Her craft is ancient, sacred, beautiful. You see glass jars filled with rose petals steeping in water. The herbalist explains that it takes patience, days of waiting, gentle sunlight, a careful touch. The final result? A clear, sweet-scented tonic used for skin and spirit alike. Beauty here is never rushed. As you walk back through the village, the smells blend. Wood smoke, beeswax, candles, herbs, fresh bread, sheep's wool. Nothing artificial, nothing sprayed or packaged. And yet, the world smells rich, layered, and human. In medieval times, scent was memory, identity, and care. A child skips by, a single daisy tucked behind their ear. No jewels, no gold, just a flower, chosen and placed with joy. It reminds you that beauty doesn't need to be bought. It can be picked from the earth, worn with pride, and shared freely. As you walk through the early mist, a woman passes you slowly. Pinned at her shoulder is a silver brooch, carved with the shape of a lion. It shines in the sun, but its meaning is deeper. A family crest, a symbol of pride, passed from mother to daughter. Beauty in this age often came with memory. A man holds out his hand. On it, a ring. No jewels, just a circle of bronze. He smiles softly. "It was my wife's," he says. "She wore it when she baked bread." The ring is plain, but it glows in the warmth of the story. In the medieval world, even the simplest things held deep love. A young girl sits by the fire, her sister braiding her hair. Woven into the braid are tiny threads of golden thread and red wool. Not valuable in coin, but beautiful in effort. In this time, beauty was created slowly, with hands and closeness. In the quiet chapel, a woman lights a candle. Around her neck is a pendant, oval, etched with a saint's symbol. To her, it's protection, a whisper of hope. To others, a sign of devotion. Jewelry wasn't just for decoration. It was faith worn close to the skin.
you discover a small carved charm tucked into a child's pocket. It's made of wood, worn smooth by fingers. No one else sees it. No one needs to. It's not for display. It's for comfort. And in this world, even hidden things could be beautiful.
In a quiet room near the chapel, an elder sits by the fire. Their faces lined, skin soft and folded like worn parchment. They speak little, but every word holds weight. In this world, beauty is not youth alone. It is the firelight in old eyes. You watch a grandmother threading a needle. Her hands tremble, but the cloth never tears. Each wrinkle on her face follows a path of love, of grief, of laughter. No one hides these lines. They are badges of life fully lived. Outside, an older man walks along the path to the well. His hair is white, long, and free. Not trimmed or hidden, just allowed to be. You notice how gently the breeze carries it, as if nature itself respects time. A midwife speaks to a frightened girl, her voice slow and calm. Not beautiful by standards of youth, but her presence is grounding. In medieval times, wisdom was beauty. A soft voice that steadied others was more prized than a pretty face. In the village, stories are told of those long gone, names spoken beside fires, songs sung in memory. Their faces may fade, but their deeds remain, and that too is beauty, to have lived well enough to be remembered.
In the meadow beyond the fields, green begins to return. Tiny wildflowers dot the grass like drops of paint. A girl kneels to gather them, not for gold or gain, but to place them on her mother's windowsill. Here, beauty is in renewal, in giving without being asked. The sun is high, and skin glows bronze under its warmth. Women sit by the river, washing linen, laughing softly. Their sleeves are rolled, their hair loose. There are no mirrors, no powders, only sun and water. And in their ease, their joy, they are radiant. Leaves drift in slow spirals, golden and soft. A boy runs through them, scattering color with his feet. Nearby, a woman weaves dried flowers into a wreath. Wrinkled hands, tired eyes, but still she smiles. In autumn, beauty softens, but it never fades. Frost laces the windows. Smoke curls from chimneys. Inside, faces glow by candlelight, rosy, wrapped in wool. There are no silk gowns here, no painted cheeks, only warmth shared, stories whispered, hands held. In winter, beauty is survival, closeness, and calm. You sit alone by a frozen tree. Its branches are bare, but you know spring will return. And like the tree, beauty in this world is never still. It blooms, fades, rests, and returns again and again. You exhale, slowly, quietly. You understand.
You sit at the edge of the village now. The sky has turned to twilight, soft blues, quiet purples. There is no noise, no footsteps, only the wind moving the grass. For the first time, you see yourself in a still puddle of water, wearing simple clothes, hair undone, face at peace.
You barely recognize this version of you, but somehow you like them more. You remember the faces you've seen, lined, worn, smiling, worried, each one beautiful. Not because of perfection, but because of life. They worked, they hoped, they cared. And in every gesture, they showed you beauty is not something you see, it's something you carry. Inside the cottage, someone lights a candle for you. The flame flickers softly, warming the room with gold. There are no mirrors here, no judgments, no need to fix or prove. Just breath, just rest, just you as you are. You lie back on the straw-filled bed. Your eyes grow heavy. The sounds of the village fade. The distant crackle of fire, the soft hoot of an owl. The medieval world no longer feels foreign. It feels familiar, like something buried deep inside you, now gently awake. Tonight, you've walked through a world shaped by different values. But in truth, you haven't just seen their beauty, you've rediscovered your own. And now, as your breath slows and sleep rises to greet you, you carry that beauty with you, not on your skin, but in your heart.
Somewhere between sleep and memory, you're walking through mist, not lost, just floating. The village fades behind you. So do the faces, the sounds. You feel no fear, only calm, as if the world itself is saying, "You've seen enough, you've felt enough. Now rest." In the fog, you pass a wooden door. You reach for the handle, but something stops you. You smile. You don't need to open it. Some questions are not for tonight. Some dreams are meant to wait. There are no more footsteps, only your breath, soft, slow. You don't need to return to the world you came from. Not now, not yet. This quiet is enough. The mist wraps around you like a blanket. Time vanishes. The story ends, but you begin again, in the space where dreams are born.
You walk a quiet trail just outside the village. The moon is high, casting silver light on the path. Each footstep presses gently into the earth. Above, clouds drift slowly. Around you, all is still. There is no destination, only the walk. You pass an old man sitting by a lantern. He's the village watchman, eyes half closed, arms folded. He doesn't speak, just nods at you. There is trust in the silence, and a reminder. Someone always keeps watch when others sleep. At the edge of the woods, you find a small stone shrine, overgrown with moss, half broken, ancient. You kneel beside it, unsure why. The air here feels different, like time slows even more. You place the hand on the cold stone. It feels like memory. Tiny lights blink around you, fireflies, drifting in the still air. They dance with no pattern, no purpose, just light in the dark. You smile, and for a moment, your thoughts vanish. All that remains is the glow. Beyond the hill, the fields stretch far into the night. Wheat sways gently in the breeze. You walk between the rows, the golden heads brushing your hands. This world no longer feels like a dream. It feels like home. At last you find a wooden bench by the riverbank. The water flows slow and dark, reflecting stars. You sit,
eyes half closed, listening to the soft trickle. There are no questions here, no voices, only the sound of the world breathing.
The stars are still out, though you've walked for hours. It feels like dawn should have arrived, but it hasn't. The night holds on as if refusing to let you go. And somehow, that's comforting. You don't need time here, just quiet. Mist curls around your feet as you walk. It moves like it's alive, twisting through trees and grass. The world is softer now, distant. Even the sounds are muffled. You are not lost. You are wrapped in something gentle. In the distance, a single bell rings, slow and hollow. A shepherd's flock passes along the hillside. Sheep move like clouds on the earth. The bell fades, and with it, your thoughts. You walk slower now, not wanting to disturb the silence. You find a pile of stones, carefully stacked. An old marker, a memory. Someone once stood here, like you do now. You place your hand on the top stone. It's warm, as if the sun touched it long ago and never left. A small bird watches you from a tree. It doesn't move, doesn't sing, just watches. You stare back, both of you still. In that silence, there is no fear, only mutual understanding. Then it blinks, and you walk on. The trail begins to bend, back toward the village. You recognize the trees now, the slope of the land. You are returning, not to where you started, but to something calmer, something real, something earned.
Back in the tavern, someone hands you a warm wooden cup. It smells faintly of herbs and honey. You sip slowly, letting the warmth fill your chest. Outside, the wind hums against the shutters. Inside, nothing moves but the shadows. Upstairs, you're given a simple cot, one thick wool blanket, a soft pillow. You lie down, pulling the blanket over your shoulders. The room creaks faintly, wood settling into night. Your breathing begins to match its rhythm. You leave the window cracked, just a little. A thread of fresh air drifts in. You can smell the earth, the hay, the faintest hint of rain. A dog barks in the distance, then nothing. The quiet is complete. Your mind drifts back through the day, the people you met, the fire, the bread, the games, the work, the whispers of beauty and time. None of it feels sharp, just soft echoes. You let them float and then fade. Even in sleep, the world around you continues. A cartwheel creaks far off, an owl calls once, then all is still again. The medieval world breathes with you, not louder, not faster, just together. As your eyes grow heavier, you feel it, that gentle pull, not backward, not forward, just inward. You are no longer the visitor here, you belong, and soon you will dream in this time too.
You wander slowly through the village streets, the evening settling softly. Torches flicker, casting gentle shadows on the cobblestones. People move quietly, some finishing chores, others preparing for rest. The sights, the scents, the small gestures, all the beauty you've witnessed today linger in your mind. It is not harsh or demanding, but soft and enduring. You pause near a hearth. The faces of the villagers glow warmly in the firelight. Lines, wrinkles, laughter, and care mark each one. Some are young, some aged, some adorned with ribbons or charms. Each one tells a story of life, patience, and presence. Beauty, you realize, is everywhere, not only in perfection, but in life itself. You think back to the bathhouse, the gardens, the small chambers, the rituals of care, the scents,
The braids, the gestures, they form a tapestry of slow, deliberate beauty. It is not rushed, it is not loud. It is a soft rhythm, a gentle current guiding each day. You remember the noble woman, the herbalist, the children and the villagers. Each carried beauty differently. Some for status, some for survival, some for personal grace. Some wore veils, some wore ribbons, some inly their kindness. And you understand, beauty is not just what you see, it is how you move, how you care, and how you exist in the world. You take a deep breath of the evening air, filled with lavender, hay, and soft smoke from hearths. Every inhalation brings serenity. Every exhalation releases tension. Time slows, thoughts quiet. The medieval world, once strange and distant, now feels intimate and familiar. The sun disappears, leaving a gentle twilight. Windows glow softly, torches flicker and die down. Villagers retreat to beds, fires smolder, and the world grows still. You sit quietly, reflecting on the day's beauty, rituals, and lessons. And as your eyes grow heavy, you understand. This story, this medieval world, is a lullaby for the mind, a soft embrace guiding you toward rest.
Thank you for walking this path with Dreamwoven History. Tonight you saw beauty not in mirrors, but in moments, in laughter, in labor, in the light of a quiet fire. The past spoke softly, and you listened. As sleep wraps around you, remember, true beauty was never just in faces, but in kindness, in courage, and in stillness. Good night, dreamer. Rest easy until our next journey.